Hi, I am knitting this lovely church mouse design that is a scarf in linen stitch, and the instructions say to knit it by clipping the yarn at each end and turning. I realize that you can knit just from the right side if you want to, and a genius on Ravelry discovered that you can knit in the round and not have to clip the yarn at each end until you're all done and have the right side facing you the whole time. At any rate, what I wanted to show you is how I am doing the linen stitch, and this is just with the right side facing because I am knitting this in the round. The linen stitch is very much, if you're just looking at the right side of linen stitch, it's very much like seed stitch, because every other stitch in each row and each column is a knit stitch. But unlike seed stitch, the others are not purls, they're slip with the yarn in fronts. But if you can continue to knit from the right side, it becomes really easy to read where you are in the pattern, because it is just in every other, you knit one and then slip one with yarn in front, knit one, slip one with yarn in front. But when I was watching people who are knitting differently, they're going to a lot more trouble than I like to. When I'm knitting, if I can figure out a faster way, I like to do it. So the instructions, if you're knitting the English method, and pardon me, that isn't my normal method, so I'm a bit stilted when I do it the English way. But the next stitch would be a knit stitch. And then to slip the yarn in front, you bring the yarn to the front, slip the stitch, and bring the yarn back in the back, so you're ready for the next knit stitch. Okay, but what I found out, and I'm sure I'm not the first one to do this, I just haven't seen anything on it before, is if you're knitting Continental, you don't really have to bring the yarn into the front to slip with the yarn in front. So my next stitch is a slip with yarn in front, and I can bring the yarn to the front, slip, and then bring the yarn to the back. And that just actually doesn't take a whole lot of movement if you're knitting Continental anyway. But let me knit the next stitch. What I do, so that I don't have to, so that I can leave my yarn in the back, is I bring the right needle to the back, I slip, and then I dip. If I didn't have that little dip to bring the yarn back to the front of the right needle, it would be a yarn over. So let me knit the next stitch. Okay, so I go around to the back, slip, and dip. Knit the next stitch. Around to the back, slip, and dip. So if you do this, it becomes very quick to do the linen stitch, which if you're doing it another way, it ends up being a lot slower, and I like to learn how to do things more quickly. I'm fairly beginning still at knitting, but I like to read blogs and find projects on Ravelry where people have done really clever things to make something handmade that much faster and easier.